So, you're buying your very first RV. Congrats! That's super exciting, but it can be a little bit overwhelming. And I've seen a lot of people make the same mistakes whenever they're shopping for their very first RV. And sometimes that can cost you thousands of dollars and even ruin the entire camping experience. So, let's avoid all of that. Here are 5 common mistakes that I see a lot of first-time RV buyers make that you need to be aware of. My name's Haze. I work over here at Bob Hurley RV in Oklahoma City. I've been selling these things for a good while now, and I've sold hundreds of RVs throughout my sales career. And if you guys are in the market for one, I'm going to have my phone number and email listed down below. But today, we're talking about 5 mistakes first-time RV purchasers make. Stick around. You don't want to miss this. Mistake number 1, buying the wrong size RV. Most people think bigger is better. So what do? They go and buy the biggest 40-plus foot-long fifth wheel that they can possibly get, only to realize it's too big for their truck to tow. You can't get into the majority of the campgrounds that you want to go in, and you don't really have a place to store it. But on the flip side, some people go too small, thinking that they're going to save money, only to outgrow that brand new RV the second that they take it home. So what's the solution here? The solution is to find an RV that works with your lifestyle. Weekend campers don't really need the biggest rig. And if you plan on full-time living in one, you probably want some more space. Think about a couple of those things. Where are you really going to be taking it? What campgrounds do you want to go and use? Where are you going to store this big bat camper that you're about to get? And most importantly, what are you using for your tow vehicle? Mistake number 2 is ignoring the weight ratings of your tow vehicle. And it's probably the most common and most dangerous mistake that I've had people make. Now, most people will look at the tow ratings on their truck and think, I've got way more than enough room, but that's not really the case, man. Check it out. Every single camper out there has a couple of weight numbers that you need to know about. 2 things. First, hold on. There we go. First is going to be your unloaded vehicle weight. That's this RV being completely bone dry and unloaded. We're at 5,690 pounds. And then you have your GVWR. That's your gross vehicle weight rating. That's this thing loaded all the way down, and that's at 7,600 pounds. Now, on just about every new unit, you're going to have this little handy yellow sticker right in here. Check it out. And this will tell you the weight of the cargo should never exceed 1,870 pounds. So that's going to include your water, your tanks, your propane, all of your clothes, and your camping gear. That's how much weight that this camper in particular can handle, and you need to remember that. Now here's the kicker. Your truck has a payload rating, and this camper is going to put a big chunk of its weight up here on the hitch. That's either your tongue weight, pin weight, hitch weight. It's called a few different things, but that number is going to directly eat at your truck's payload. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you guys 2 examples, one of the wrong way to do it and the second being the right way. Now, before you come at me in the comments, I am not an artist, and if you ask me, I think that my drawing here looks pretty good. Now, let's get into it. We have a half-ton truck. Now, this thing is rated for 10,000 pounds worth of towing and has a 1,400 pound payload capacity. Okay, now let's talk about our camper. This thing weighs 8,500 pounds dry. Now, most people are going to see your 8,500 pound number and your 10,000 pound tow rating number and think, I'm well within that, but that's not the case. You guys do not realize how heavy all of your stuff is that you take with you. All of your water, your camping gear, your clothes, your food, all that stuff adds up, man, and it adds up quick. So the GVWR on this camper is 10,000 pounds. That's all the way loaded down. Most people are going to get pretty close to that GVWR number whenever they regularly use their camper. So let's say that this is the case. Now, with this being 10,000 pounds and at our 10,000 pound tow rating, that's cutting it way too close. Now, this camper is also going to have a monster hitch weight of 1,200 pounds. That's 1,200 pounds coming straight down onto your hitch setup. Now, I know you guys have seen it. I've seen it too driving down the highway. You see Jim Bob and Wanker Betty over here with their truck squatted down, the nose of their camper is diving down, and whenever they're going, this thing is bopping and moving all down the road. It's bad, okay? If we have 1,200 pounds worth of hitch weight and a payload capacity of 1,400 pounds, the payload on your truck is all of its cargo. That's going to include your fuel, all of the people who are in this vehicle, so the driver and anybody else that's in there, much less any other stuff that you put on the truck. Like if you have a cool aftermarket big steel bumper on this guy, that stuff's going to add up and eat into your payload, much less this monster hitch weight. 1,200 pounds of hitch weight and 1,400 pounds of payload do not mix. This is a bad setup. Let me show you what the right way to do it looks like. This is what a proper tow setup looks like. Let's talk about it. So we have the same half-ton pick-em-up truck with that 10,000 pound tow rating and 1,400 pounds of payload. But these guys wised up and watched this video and got a smaller unit that still fits their needs, that's within their truck's capacities. Let's talk about it. This camper weighs 6,000 pounds dry, well within what this truck is rated to tow. Now, it also has a GVWR of 8,500 pounds. We're still only using 85% of what the truck is rated for, which whenever you're shopping around, you want to stay 10 to 20% back of what your max is, right? You don't want to max out your tow rating on that truck. Stay about 80 to 90% of that, okay? Now, this thing is also going to have an 850 pound tongue weight, a lot less than that 1,200 pounds we were talking about earlier. So only 850 pounds coming down here to our hitch, which is going to level out our vehicle a lot better. And we still have 550 pounds worth of payload for our driver, for our passengers, for anything you want to put in the back. We're still well within those limits. So whenever you guys are shopping around, do me a favor. Plug in your tow vehicle's VIN online. See exactly how much that thing is rated for. Don't be going off of the dry weight. Look at the GVWR, and you want this number to be about 80 to 90% of the tow rating. Don't max out your tow rating. Don't max out your payload. Have a better time. Tow your vehicle the right way, and everybody's going to be happy, man. Let's get to camping. Mistake number 3 the first-time buyers make is shopping only by the price. Just because it's the cheapest RV out there does not mean that it's the best value. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm all about saving money. And sure, you're going to save some money up front, but there's a good chance you're going to pay for it later whenever those repairs come around. Not all campers are created equal, so you need to pay attention to a few things, like the warranty. Pay attention to things like the construction and the dealer support after you buy one of these things. Say what's up, Tori. Pay attention to that stuff whenever you go to shop around, because just because it's the cheapest does not mean it's the best value. Spending a little bit more up front could save you thousands later. Mistake number 4 that first-time buyers make is not considering the storage and layout of that camper. Out here on the lot, everything looks shiny and exciting and super cool, and that's great. But you really need to consider how you're going to use the space whenever you own one. Let me show you what I mean. Take this work and play, for example. Sure, we're going to have enough space here in the garage to fit your four-wheeler and your dirt bike, but you need to consider everything else. When you plan a camping trip for days or weeks at a time, are you going to be comfortable using this kitchen? Are you going to be okay with having to crawl up here to your bed? Is this bathroom really going to make the most sense for you and your family? These are all important things that you need to consider. I've seen it happen all too often where someone takes one home and realizes once it's already too late that the kitchen doesn't have enough counter space. The bathroom is just too cramped, or the unit doesn't have enough storage. So the solution here is to really visualize yourself using this unit days or weeks at a time. Where are you going to put all your stuff? Is that kitchen really going to work for you and your family? And can you really comfortably take a shower in the bathroom? Comfort matters a lot more than flash, so keep that in mind whenever you're shopping. And last but not least here on our list is forgetting about the total cost of ownership. You know, most first-time buyers are just going to budget for the actual camper itself, but there's a lot of other costs involved that you need to be aware of. You have to have insurance on it. If you're not storing it at your house, you'll have to pay a storage facility. There are some maintenance costs involved that you need to be aware of just about every year. Every campsite is going to have a fee in order to camp there, and you have to have some certain accessories for a successful camping trip. Let me show you what I mean. Every single unit that we sell here is always going to come with a power cord, charged up batteries, and full bottles of propane. But other than that, it's really about it. If we need any other accessories, we'll have to go and talk to parts. I'm here in our parts department where we have every single kind of part and accessory that your RV could ever need. Let me show you a handful of things that every first-time buyer needs to have for their first RV. The first thing that we're going to be talking about is this big bad starter kit. Now this has a lot of really good stuff all packed into one big package, so you don't have to buy everything individually. But this will have a lot of really good stuff like your RV toilet paper, your sewer hose, some stands for your sewer hoses, a couple of wheel chocks, some detergent to put down into your tanks, a water filter, a clean water drinking hose, as well as a water pressure regulator. Why do you need that? Let's talk about it. This little guy right here is your water pressure regulator. Now, why do you need this? So whenever you get to your campsite and turn on the spigot from your water source, sometimes the pressure coming out of that is very, very high. And all of these campers are not made to have an extreme amount of water pressure in them. So if you're not using one of these guys, what could happen is whenever you plug in your freshwater source, it can bust a couple of plumbing lines in there, leading to a bunch of water getting everywhere, just a whole big bad deal. So to avoid that, we got this guy right here. And what this does is takes the pressure coming out of your water source down to, this one in particular is between 50 and 60 PSI, so you're not bursting any of your lines. Something you need to know about. If you're going to be buying a travel trailer, I would definitely recommend some sort of weight management hitch. Now, both of these hitches that we have over here will put pressure on the tongue of your trailer and make sure that it's not going to be swaying back and forth whenever you're going down the road. A lot safer option than just hooking it straight onto your ball. Now, let's talk about a fifth wheel hitch. With fifth wheel hitches, there is a lot to talk about, and a lot of it really depends on your tow vehicle. Do you have a puck system or just a turnover ball, or are you using rails? Do you have a short bed or a long bed truck? It really depends on what your goals are and what equipment that you need to tow that fifth wheel safely. So be sure that you're doing your research and buy the right hitch. Not every campsite is going to have the right electrical connection for you, whether you have a 30 or a 50 amp unit. So you might want to pick up one of these dog bones to go from a 50 down to a 30, or vice versa, from a 30 up to a 50 amp connection. Another thing that you might want to consider is a surge protector. And guys, I mean it whenever I say I have heard horror stories of people who are not plugged in using a surge protector and just plug straight into the power pole and then get a lightning strike or a big surge that fries every single electrical component in their camper. So let's avoid all of that up together, spend a couple of $100 on a nice quality surge protector that will fry the surge protector and not your whole camper. Protect your investment, man. I mean, what are we doing here? So what's the solution here? Budget a couple of extra $1,000 for your first year of ownership for those accessories and some other things that you may need along the way. Don't let some of these, not necessarily hidden fees, but the less talked about fees get in the way of you and your family's great camping experience. Just budget for it ahead of time and you'll be fine. So let's recap our 5 mistakes that first-time RV buyers make. Thing number 1, be sure you buy the right size RV. Don't go super huge. Don't go teeny tiny. Get the thing that's right in the middle. Be like Goldilocks. Thing number 2, be sure that you know what your tow vehicle can tow. Don't overload your truck and don't buy something that's too big for your tow vehicle. Thing number 3, don't shop just by price. Just because it's the cheapest does not mean that it's the best quality. Spending a little bit more up front could save you thousands of dollars in the long run. Thing number 4, be sure that you're paying attention to the space and the layout of this thing. Are you going to be able to comfortably use it for weeks or days at a time? And thing number 5, be sure to budget for all of the rest of your accessories, all of your different parts, as well as your insurance and storage costs. Pay attention to all those and just budget for it and you'll be fine. And guys, if you thought that this video was helpful, go ahead and drop me a like and subscribe to this video while you're at it. I got a little red button right down here that has that. Be sure to share it with your camping friends. We'll catch you on the next one. Bob Hurley RV, this is Haze. How can I help you?